You might be asking yourself, your treasure, your soulmate, your counterpart, what's going on? Why? He doesn't speak publicly about loving you. Or maybe he tells you that he loves you, that he has feelings, but not outside, not to others. He hides it. Or maybe you never really heard from him regarding feelings. And you're always left in the dark with question marks, wondering what's really going on. And now let's take a look. Dear ones, we are in the collective. Person cards are gender neutral. This is your counterpart, both male and female. And a collective reading cannot apply to everyone. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. Thank you for being there. Thank you for your heartfelt, wonderful, lovely comments. Many thanks for that. I embrace you very, very warmly and tightly. Yes, and we have this question again from a collective. I would also like to address that. A question? The cards always want a clear and distinct question. So it's like this. We need a clear question. Write it into the collective. I always take those very, very gladly. And then we also have a topic concerning soulmates, soulmate readings. We have it very specifically here. Soulmates, whether it is the soulmate. I do not do soulmate readings in the collective. No. So it's like this. It is rather a very, very sensitive topic. Therefore, I do not want to do it in the collective. Everything else, super, super gladly. Absolutely no problem. And you can always feel free to write in the comments your suggestions for a question for the collective. So, and now let's take a look. What's going on there? Why doesn't he admit to it? Or didn't admit to it either regarding the feelings towards you? So, okay, I mean, right? We start with the 6 of Wands. 6, the Wands, yes. So we already have quite a bit of movement in here. So something is occupying him, and selfishness is also shown very strongly. And there is something going on inside him that you might not know about. It's like a backlash. Something here is always being hidden. And it is also very much about recognition for him or her. So he is very keen on getting recognition and wants to show himself somehow. But how? We will see in a moment. But here it is really also about the backlash, always hiding this. And about exclusion. So a very big issue here, exclusion. Yes. Let's see what else we can find out. So now we have the 4 of coins. 4 of coins. It is indeed a sign from him that he, yes, it sometimes has this exaggerated nature and then falls into this rigidity. But for him, it is also very much about security and especially about control. And that is always a recurring theme within him, which fits quite well now. With these setbacks or backlash, with self-protection, because there it is, the trust. Maybe he doesn't really trust himself, but he is like that, yes. Mistrust, which is also shown, and there is something overly cautious in that area concerning feelings. He doesn't want to risk anything, Cassie. So, and there we are at the topic of taking risks. Okay, let's take a look. So, what else do we have? We have, I need to take another look at that. The Empress, okay, all right. And it also says, the Empress indeed. Here you can see growth and still complete abundance. So there's something inside him that keeps blocking him, where he doesn't want to take any risks. There we have a dependency. And inside him, it looks completely different. There is something in motion here that he might not want to say, something he is hiding, what's going on inside him. A big topic here is also relationships, or the relationship. But there is this coldness and this blockage. It also has to do to some extent with envy. Envy on the outside, perhaps envy concerning other people or situations. Oh yes, I do think it will get quite exciting here, what's going on. Because we already have the feeling it's related to the game, but something is completely blocking him. Yes, we can already see it clearly. Here lies his harmony and his neediness, because he is running away from it too. That's it. Well, Sugar, that's it, he runs away. I have him lying here completely in doubt. And for example, for himself, yes, those are his fears, right? Their fears are clearly shown. Basically, he is a person who needs a lot of harmony. He wants harmony, he wants this love, but he also runs away from it himself and pushes it away, completely withdraws, shuts himself off. It's like this. He doesn't let himself be pressured. So if you now say or have said, yes, but you can stand by me publicly, there are feelings there. Why don't you do it? Then we have here. In return, he says even more so, no. So he becomes more and more tense, because basically I have him or her completely insecure, completely restless, and in uncertainty. Uncertainty, restlessness. I have this, just don't do anything wrong. Just don't do anything wrong outside. The fears of being seen incorrectly. We have this clearly again here. It is shown here that it is very, very important to him or her how he is perceived. He is essentially running away from himself completely. And for him, it's also the self-protection into which he or she retreats, to not stand in that area. In public, it's not being, yes, uncool, let's put it that way. So this reputation in front of others as well. And above all, it's also like this when he says these are feelings. And we are now in the getting to know phase, or we're in the getting to know phase. It's the issue that he then also panics here. So really spoken, so to speak, in quotes. Panic sets in, saying, oh God, if it falls apart again, how will I look then? He has a problem admitting feelings to himself because he doesn't completely trust himself. He has this distrust regarding his relationship. Everything will fall apart anyway. Then I completely soften up here and open myself up completely. And then, wham, then I'm in a mess here. And then I have trouble again, and then I get hurt. Getting hurt is the big issue, and it stems from his past, this issue. And as I said, we still have a little bit of that with us. Especially when you bring it up to him or her, then definitely not. I felt like a little child, like now definitely not. Because he always feels completely pressured. He's afraid to allow his feelings because, or rather to truly stand by it, to stand by it publicly, because inside him there are these real doubts. These doubts about whether it has any permanence at all. Being hurt, getting hurt, especially being pushed away. For your loved one, this is the issue. That's why always out in public, he needs to be seen well. He needs to have this presence, and everything else is important, how he is perceived. And he often says yes, even though he would actually prefer to say no, because his self-confidence isn't really up here, truly up here, even if he shows it outwardly. Outwardly, yes, he can do that really well and also portray it. But inside, it looks completely different. And then, as I said, the issue, this being pushed away, this, if I, in his words now, if I completely open up and stand by my feelings, I make myself completely vulnerable. And then I get hurt. I knew it. That's where I get it. And that's what's ingrained in him. And there we have setbacks from his past. It can really be childhood because it goes back very softly here. So we have a very large time factor that we are going back. So not just now, let's say 1, 2, 3 years. We are really going back to childhood. And there are the issues. Because there I have the issue with your loved one, that he was not seen, that he was perhaps just dragged along like in a lifeboat and always had to do everything right. And this, when he did something wrong, bam, he was not properly seen. Perhaps some also felt that he did not receive the proper affection, this love, this yes, that he feels unwanted. And he experienced and went through quite a bit here. Because the love for you, we have that here. Let's take a look. Yes, there are feelings of happiness. It's all there. He is afraid of the feelings of happiness. Oh my God, no, such a thing doesn't exist. Because in reality, he doesn't know anything deep when it comes to feelings. I have him here completely lying in his fears, in disappointment. We have a major issue with disappointment, and he or she protects themselves from that. That's the outside, where he says, okay, I love this woman, or I have completely loved her here, or there are really feelings there. I want to get to know her. That's this, oh God, no. Then they assume, then maybe some will laugh. Yes, let's see if you find my right one now. Maybe you've messed up some relationships. Or then comes this, yes, what's now? How does it continue? And have you already? And is anything happening there? And there's this pressure, help. He keeps running back because he can't handle it. Because for him, it's always there, the setback. He gets pushed away. He is abandoned. He is hurt. I see this over and over again with him here. Because fundamentally, the love for you is there. And it has been there for a long time. I just have the love completely hidden in secrecy. And this trust, also trusting in love, because he doesn't know that he can completely trust in love. We have multiple repetitions of this in the past. As I said, we go back to childhood. There were also other relationships where it never really worked out properly, but I have him very closed off. He doesn't really talk about it. So regarding the past, I have him completely burdened, lying in seclusion. He does have his thoughts and likes to withdraw, even if he doesn't show it outwardly. So, as I said, outwardly he likes to show, often says yes when he would actually say no, but just so he is seen in a good light. That's why. And there it is very, very, very significant. It also has to do with feelings. And there, he or she already sees you, more determined when it comes to feelings. Only he can't really implement it, the whole thing. The feelings, the love I have here for you, there is affection, there is love, there is devotion, there is connection. Because fundamentally, I see in him or her the longing to truly arrive, to be able to let go. But the longing is coupled with fear. Will one be pushed away? Will one be excluded again? This exclusion. And that is a very big issue. So now we have something that I always find so beautiful. I really like it. Great, the Wheel of Fortune, it fits absolutely perfectly with it. The time is now ripe. A turn is shown, a change. And there he breaks out, he or she breaks out, especially what I find absolutely great here is the detachment from the old. The detachment from the old is shown. And that is a very big issue. He still doesn't trust the whole thing. So there is really a turnaround happening. These are the feelings, even if you no longer have contact or haven't had contact for a long time, no matter how long it's been. He hasn't come to terms with the love for you, with the feelings. Not at all, because it's there. Here, something is working within him or her concerning your connection. Because here, there's also this theme of new territory. I feel here this intensity. I can't let go. This woman or this man still occupies my thoughts. I'm just afraid, and that's what he shows here. But we are here in the turning point, in the change. It still takes time. I have slow movement, but we've already come quite far. So there's a lot going on in your loved one's mind. So from that perspective, Something is happening here. We have movement. Even if it's slow, there is definitely movement. Then we have the Three of Swords. Three of Swords, yes, to see the heartache. An inner conflict because he has this heartache. And this sadness is shown again, this heartache, the sorrow. And there is this sadness, this disappointment. And there is also somehow he blames himself a lot. As I said, he is closed off. He doesn't show it. But I have the feelings of guilt because he might have always pushed you away and couldn't tell you everything because he realizes now. It's really when he says something like, no, I have no feelings, or I had no feelings, or no, we were never together, even though it is true. The opposite is true. You were together. And if he says something like that now, he gets a real stomach cramp or a stab in the stomach area because he realizes, oh God, he can't even say it anymore. Because that's where I also have the interruptions. Here, that he might then divert from the topic. He doesn't want to respond to it anymore because he realizes he's struggling here, because it hurts him, because he's in this sorrow knowing that it's wrong. Because love is really a big topic here in 3. The Three of Swords also shows that some optimism is already being grasped. To move out of the division between head and heart and decide for the heart. So we really have a lot of movement in this area. And that has something powerful in him. So he really doesn't manage anymore with what perhaps always worked from the past. Dear ones, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for watching and wish you a wonderfully beautiful rest of the day. Goodbye.